Good Saturday morning to you folks. I am Mike Hayflick from the Financial Guys offices. I'm actually here today with Rochelle Tadaro. She's co-hosting today's show. We'll be passing things over to Rochelle in just a moment. We have a tremendous show for you. Of course, I might say that as the host of the show, but hopefully you do feel that way. We're going to give you some updates on things we're doing in our new TFG Academy Training Center. It's at our new location, 305 Spindrift. We're also going to be talking a little bit about the reminders about open enrollment for Medicare. A really important time if you're reaching that age 65 and you need to choose supplemental plans. You're not quite sure what direction to go. We're going to talk a little bit about that this segment. And we are going to get an update from Rochelle on some of the upcoming workshops that we're having, how you can register and so on and so forth. So stay tuned. Later in the show, you've got to stay tuned. We have a special guest lined up. Iraq War veteran, Bronze and Silver Star Award recipient, author, co-host of Bowerly and Bellavia, none other than David Bellavia is here today with us. We are super excited to have David. So stay tuned. Next segment, we will begin some great conversation with David. Lots going on to talk about. So I want to just talk to Rochelle. Hey, Rochelle, so you're over at our board here at the Channel 7 studios, and there are lots of ways that people can register for workshops. They can kind of get in touch with us using 633-1515. What are some other ways that they can find out about the upcoming workshops, the things that we're doing in our TFG Academy now? Well,
you can always go to our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, catch us on social media. But right here we have the Financial Guys website. So you just plug in thefinancialguys.com, and this is our homepage here. So what you can do is up here at the top, click on Academy, and that'll bring you to a registration page right here. And these are the list of all of our upcoming seminars. So you just scroll down. Our next one coming up is Life, Property, and Casualty Insurance on October 24th at noon, just like the rest of our workshops, right at our offices. You click on sign up. It'll bring you to this page. You enter your name, email address, phone number, and how many people you plan on bringing with you. And you just click register, and that will put you on the list, and we'll give you a confirmation call the day or two before just to remind you. And then if we go back, if you want to sign up for that Medicare Monday, every Monday throughout Medicare season, we have an educational workshop to kind of get you the information you need in order to choose a plan. You can go right back to the homepage or the top bar here. If you kind of hover over insurance, you click on Medicare Monday and register now. You click right there, that'll bring you, enter your information, you pick the date that you want and the time. They have a couple of 5 p.m. sessions that you can register for if the midday doesn't work for you. Just click right there, enter your information, and you'll be all signed up. It's a great way to come into the office and get the education you need on the topics you need, Medicare Monday as well as TFG Academy.
And there are refreshments, there are usually snacks provided. We at the office have been told, please stay away from the snacks. Not only would we be gaining probably 5 pounds a week, but there are a lot of people showing up for these.
Yes.
Hey, so Rochelle, so we've been in our new office, I'm thinking about 7-8 weeks now. We've had a number of workshops. How are they going, generally speaking?
Yes, they're going so well. We've gotten such great feedback. Some of our clients pop in, but these are open to the public and complimentary. So we've had a lot of people who have, never been a part of the Financial Guys before. They haven't come in, they haven't had a consultation, and this is a great way for us to introduce ourselves to you. You see what we're all about, all of the services we offer. We've had such great feedback. There's a lot of question and answer time in all of these workshops. So it's not just, come in, sit down and listen. It's very interactive, and I think that's what we really like about it. Mike and Glenn have always strived for that education part of the business. And even if you walk away and you don't want to give us a call for a couple months, you just want to gather your information, that's fine too.
Sure. And I think it is great because it's for those late starters. So for instance, I like to train people and teach people about Social Security claiming. I'll often get people who just retired and are wondering, should I go claim my benefit right now? Others come in when they're 59, 60 years old, and so, as Rochelle said, there's really no perfect age to come in and join us. I actually have a nice a sheet here that shows all the different upcoming workshops. Through the end of the year, there's 2 a month. Wednesday at noon, we have every other Wednesday, it seems. We've got Medicare Mondays. We also have Ron Reinstein and I are hosting a seminar on Social Security claiming on October 17th at 6 p.m. So if you'd like to go to our website, register, or you can call 633-1515. Open enrollment starts October 15th and runs through December 7th, so don't forget those dates. When we return, we're going to be joined by none other than David Bellavia. You do not want to miss our segments with David. Please stay tuned. We are back. I'm Mike Hayflick. Thanks again for tuning into Money Talks. I actually have Rochelle Tadaro here joining me on the couch with our special guest, David Bellavia. David, Iraq War veteran, Bronze and Silver Star recipient, an author with a soon-to-be movie of what you've written about. Not to mention all the political activities, your partnership with Bowerly on WBEN 930. Which I listen to as often as I can. We'll just put him on the spot and see if he listens to the Financial Guys show on Saturdays 1 to 3 later on, right?
As soon as the jingle comes on, he's like, I can't.
That jingle. Why do you want to discuss that now? Let's do that. The financial. Is it true? I heard a rumor that Glenn Wiggle is the one saying, "Right on the money." That's him? Is that?
We cannot confirm nor deny.
I think he was actually recorded in a cave while he was on some hunting trip. And
Yeah,
that was
Could be.
Lomas has a bit of a falsetto.
Well, I think so.
I would think he would be the higher version of that.
Well, when he's performing those musicals and rock songs on stage, I mean, that's, he's got quite the versatility. Yeah. So thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Really a pleasure. It really is.
Well, you guys have a great set. I really like the whole setup of it.
I'll tell you, you can't beat preceding the great Linda Pellegrino.
She is great, too.
Especially on a Saturday morning.
We love Linda Pellegrino.
People drinking their coffees at home and so forth, and we love to be here with them. So lots going on locally. Let's talk a little bit about the 27th Congressional District. We still I hear you talking about it on the radio. Lots of opinions on this. Chris Collins is still there to compete for that seat. How on earth, with the evidence and the allegations against him, how on earth has he retained the possibility, the potential to get that seat?
You know, I told your screener I did not want to talk about this subject, and I refused. I've always wanted to walk away. You know, I have like a dramatic, like this is get this off. I'm out of here. No, the Collins thing is an absolute nightmare. It's a nightmare. I don't know, maybe because of Chris Collins, right? So we've all gotten to the point where New York 27, it's an R+11 district. And it is the responsibility of anyone running against Chris Collins to remind New York 27 why 70% voted for Donald Trump. So even though Chris Collins has problems that Chris Collins has, why is Nate McMurray a better choice if you voted for Donald Trump? And Chris Collins is just blasting this kid on these ads.
I know.
mean, bloody in his nose.
Yeah.
And so here's the reality. Chris Collins has his own polling that shows how he's doing. Nate McMurray has polling. If Nate McMurray's polling is accurate, then the DCCC is going to show up and spend money. If they don't spend money, then Chris Collins is going to be the representative, and he'll win re-election.
And it's all about probabilities. They probably sit back and say, all right, where do we have a shot? Do we even have a shot in that New York 27th?
And
if not, sorry, Nate, you're going down.
That's right. Can I finish, please? Can I get a word in? My gosh, which one? No, I'm kidding. You're wonderful. No, it's the Brett Kavanaugh bump, though. You're absolutely right. There were seats 3 weeks ago Republicans had no shot in. And now, because of the Kavanaugh hearings, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I have to blow smoke.
No. He's used to hosting shows. He's not used to guest.
He doesn't like that. He's like, I know, right? My space. Don't violate it. Let's just put a pumpkin up and we'll. No, but you're right. It's the Kavanaugh bump. It's affected everything, and New York 27 is no different.
I just wonder about that whole blue wave when you watch the national news networks and you see these people. Just be kind. Some of them are lunatics, though. The way they talk about, this is what the people want. These are the things that they want. How could they possibly say that? Do you think that there's even a chance at a blue wave? Well,
I think it's inappropriate to talk about waves in the wake of a hurricane. So as in the PC culture where everyone is offended, I am offended that we're talking about blue waves or any sort of wave.
So to even turn the wave red would be really...
Right. Now we have the
Why
red.
are we making? Can't there just be a rainbow? Can we just make it a rainbow?
The crimson wave is another thing that happens after a storm. So I'm a little worried about the panhandle. But there's the polling numbers that we're seeing right now. Look at Missouri. Missouri is a classic case in the U.S. Senate race, Claire McCaskill. If you look at St. Louis and Kansas City and Columbia and Missouri, the people that are less likely to vote for Claire McCaskill because of her stance on Kavanaugh, those are independents. Those are African Americans and those are Hispanics. The greatest mistake in the world the Democrats made was they allowed some Berkeley, California white Democrat to adjudicate what our strategy is. And that strategy doesn't work for middle America, and the strategy doesn't work for independents. This was a talk about overplaying your hand.
No doubt.
This was a huge mistake, and I think it's going to hurt them. The House, the Senate's off limits. As a matter of fact, the Republicans look like they're going to gain seats in the Senate.
Which is incredible.
And
I mean, historically, that just doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
And it could happen with a guy named Trump in office, which will really throw those left-wingers farther left, I guess. When we get back, we're going to talk a little bit more about our new Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, Brett Kavanaugh. How on earth did that all unfold? The hearings, the confirmations. We're going to get David's opinion on that in just a moment. Stay tuned. Welcome back, folks. If you need us throughout the week, we are the Financial Guys. You can reach us at 633-1515. If you want to pop in and pick up some homework, we do ask people to go through a homework process. We feel like it's a pretty unique process to go through. The questions we ask of you are to get to know you better. What we do is not simply sell you things. We get to know you. We try to figure out what's best for you. Okay? And if you have an advisor out there who doesn't seem to be giving you the attention you believe you deserve, give us a try. Pop into our office, complimentary consultation. At whatever's convenient for you. Okay, so thanks again for joining us. I'm back here with Rochelle Tadaro and our special guest, David Bellavia. David, Trump keeps winning. It's not getting old. What do you think? What do you think is making this all happen?
Well, the economy certainly helps. Whenever you see Social Security going up, you know, that's always been the Democrats have always been able to use, well, if you like your social programs, you can keep your social programs, right?
Under us, right.
But are we seeing an increase? Well, there is no denying what the economy is doing now when you're seeing those platform types. And it's also, you know, the unemployment thing is one thing. Evidently, 3.7% of the population found themselves outside of the Dirksen building in the Senate because what are they doing on a Tuesday afternoon? Nothing. You know, that's where your unemployment is. They're protesting. But the rest of the folks, if you want to find a job, you've got the best chance in probably 75 years to find a job. And that speaks for women, men, independents, and every demographic.
This is my opinion on the whole idea of entitlements. Democrats thinking they have to take care of everybody. One thing is, people might think, well, that's really nice of them. These people don't have to do a thing. I'm really offended by it because I've tried to succeed in anything I do. You get a really good sense of reward and success when you do that. You're denying so many people that feeling of, you just accomplished something. You got a job. You got raises, promotions. Like, that's a whole nother part of this that really bothers me.
Well, I think it's actually, I mean, that implies, of course, that they care, which they don't. I mean, to me, I am all about the fact that if you tell a person that because of the way you were born, you deserve special points on a test, that is what we fight against. That's why we joined the military. That's why we want to serve our country, because we don't believe, you know, Dr. King's message is that we're all one. So why should you get extra? And the other thing is, what are you saying to people that are born outside? And we hear about white privilege, but when it comes to people living in the city, we're being told, because you are of this ethnicity, this is what you're eligible for.
Sure.
That's dehumanizing. We're not talking about, this is an existential fight for the spirit of the country, and it shows up on election day and a midterm. But again, you have far too many people that are running around talking about, a cultural Marxism.
Sure.
Che Guevara didn't wear $5,000, Dolce & Gabbana outfits that I knew of. Maybe
I
there was
there, but
whatever happened in Bolivia is a dark period. We don't know what he was doing out there. But this is a guy, Linda Sauerswer is running around talking about women's rights. Wait a second, Linda Sauerswer, you're for the Palestinian Liberation Organization. You supported folks that were in the Muslim Brotherhood. Are we going to have this conversation about women's rights?
Right.
I mean, the way homosexuals are treated out in the middle. I mean, it's absurd. We're living in bizarro land, and it's time for adults to go to the polls.
Well, there was nothing more, I guess, evident with bizarro land than the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, the confirmations, the pause between that so the FBI could get involved yet a seventh time. But here he is, he won. And I do think it has really emboldened conservatives out there. Do you agree?
Well, I was upset that Lomas trademarked the term Kavanaugh. I thought that was a bit out of line for him to be doing. Alleged. Depew Hall of Fame member, Mike Lomas, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Can I just do a public service announcement? Depew, you have your own exit. Show some respect. Mike Lomas is in the hall. Where's Don Makowski? Is he in the Hall of Fame, I assume?
Probably the
Did
sports
you go to
hall.
Depew?
No, I did not.
Who went to Depew? We've got to rectify this. Change it.
We'll get to the bottom of it.
We'll get to the bottom of it. The Kavanaugh thing was a tremendous embarrassment. That was a miscalculation. It's showing real world effects, cause and effect. And I think what it really comes down to is you can have gray areas in politics, but when you're accusing someone of an assault, there's no, I was a little bit assaulted. You were either...
There really isn't much lower than you can go. Like, honestly, we could probably sit here and maybe think of some things, but it's just awful.
Let's do that. Next segment.
Yeah, well, next segment.
Things that are more disturbing.
Right, more disturbing than what they did.
Yes.
Folks, thanks again for joining us on Money Talks. We're going to take a quick break. And when we return, we're going to talk about how you can get a signed copy of David's book, House to House, an epic memoir of war. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Money Talks. Thanks for tuning in on a really nice Saturday, fall Saturday. The leaves are falling, the temperatures are falling. We know that it's fall in Western New York. I'm here with Rochelle Tadaro, co-hosting today, along with our guest David Bellavia. I've had so many laughs, like I almost have to, get my composure again as we come back. David, can we just talk a little bit about your personal past?
Right.
So I know he's like, wait, he didn't know about this. But seriously, going from the military service, and again, thank you, my goodness, like I don't know that there's someone out there who can talk about the things you've achieved, the things that you've done with such distinction. How did you come back into civilian life and do what you're doing? Like, you're a successful guy.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Vietnam veterans were amazing to me. And that generation, the way they received us, the way they protected us from the way they were treated. But there's so many, the veterans that come first are the big brothers that show you, this is what right is, this is what wrong is, and you need that. You need that guidance because, we're not supposed to shoot people. We're not supposed to go to war. We're not supposed to break things. We're not supposed to be violent. And combat is all about violence. And so you have to understand, well, we don't want to get near that. That's the war, and now we're home, and that's never going to happen again.
What was the inspiration then? Was it to just explain to people?
Can I actually hold that? I
why don't you?
Right there.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get a nice shot of David.
What camera is on? How do we know?
There you go.
House to House, an epic memoir of war.
It's a still photo, right?
It is now. Everyone can hit their pause button at home.
My mother does that with video.
But being an author, I mean, that's way different than just coming back, getting the support of our vets to sort of proceed in life.
Well, you would think that, but when you get from writing a book and realizing that there's a lot of people out there that there's a genre of war books right now that I'm not I'm not 100% happy with being a part of that. I was really trying to show a more realistic. Everything was about, you know, black and white Victorian combat. I wanted to show that combat is horrible. It's horrible, and there's a smell to it.
It's not so much a choice. It's not like everyone wakes up saying that you want to go do this. Rochelle, how can people get a signed copy of David's book?
Yeah, they can go to the website. We were just at the website before in the first segment. Go right back there. You click on Money Talks, and there will be a button to subscribe, and you just put in your information. You'll get updates about the show, and the next few people who go on and subscribe will get a signed copy of House to House.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Terrific. In about 20 seconds, what's it like to work with Tom Bowerly? How do you like co-hosting that show every day?
I absolutely, it's an amazing opportunity. Tom Bowerly is the most talented radio voice to ever hit Buffalo. And for him to allow me to do a show with him is one of the greatest things I've ever experienced.
You guys
you talking about Tom Bowerly?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant Sadie Beach. No. Bowerly's Bowerly's great. I love Bowerly.
Guy, yeah.
Awesome.
You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
Honestly, what a following. And folks, unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. It goes by so fast. If you need us throughout the week, you can reach us at thefinancialguys.com, 633-1515. Follow us on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter at FinGuys. Folks, have a great week. We'll see you next week.